You wanted to open options. You have to have open options for your kids, right? You want to be able to have the ability to study in your field. You wanted to be able to have a larger line of income, correct, for the kids? And then also the ability to connect, because you will expand your network. But do you know, that education and average earnings when one is educated, meaning that at the level of a high school graduation, one can have about $42,000 of income. This is the comparison between the different level of education, right? So if an individual has a bachelor degree, the average income would be $80,000. That's over almost $37,000 more than compared to a high school, someone with a high school degree, right? But if you go to a higher education, like a master, right, or higher, that means you're making almost double that amount of a bachelor degree. That's a 4-year degree in college. So it's so important to highlight this, because a lot of times, with the Asian culture, we believe and we highly praise the fact for our kids to go to school. Now, but then, do we plan accordingly? Do we plan accordingly? Because do we know how much college costs, right? This is a graph that shows you if the child is 18 right now, the cost to go to a public institution, meaning a SUNY school, for 4 years is about $100,000. $100,000 for 4 years. But if they go to a private institution, it can cost them anywhere up to $230,000. That's a lot of money for any parent to consider, right? But if you're talking about a newborn, so somebody having a newborn, they can look at about, if they go to a private institution or a university, almost $500,000 for 4-year investment. Because as you can see, the rise of colleges are going up each and every day. Each and every single day here, okay? So that's the reason why it's so important to be able to address that the important for them to be able to save for college funding for their kids. So here are the type of vehicle, the different type of vehicle that they have that can be able to have. And today we're going to discuss 2 out of the 3 vehicle that we have. So we have 529 plan, custodial plans, and then obviously the structure of an IUL. 529 plans. In the 529 plans, anybody here have heard of the 529 plan? Put a 1 in the chat box for me, please. If anybody here have heard of a 529 plan? Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so here in the 529 plans, what are the pro on the 529 plan? Any earnings in the 529 plan is tax-free. The funds can be used for eligible school-related nationwide. And the funds can be passed on to other family members. But here's the negative side of that. Do you know that 529 plan, it comes with high fees? Not only is it high fees, but it is exposed to market vitality, meaning that it acts as an investment. It goes into the market and is performed on the ups and downs of the market. You can earn a lot, but you can lose a lot. And you must use the dollar amount in the plan for college. If not, you can be heavily taxed depending on the states that you live in. and depending on the income bracket that you have with your family, your income bracket. So depending on the state and depending on the income guideline of you, you can be taxed heavily. But the negative side of this too is income limit. If you have an income over a certain dollar amount, you can no longer contribute into a 529 plan. And do you know that if you have money in a 529 plan, it will be included as an income when it comes to financial aid? Does anybody know that? Put a 2 in the chat box for me, please. This is very important. You need to be able to educate your client on this matter. It is considered as a form of income. So if you have a lot of money put into this 529 plan, a family, an ordinary family that was looking for some financial aid later on when their kids are ready to go to school, they may not be protected under this plan. So you have to be able to address that. Okay? Custodial accounts. Anybody have heard of a custodial account here before? Anyone would like to share? Do you know what a custodial account is? So a custodial account is basically an account that anyone can be able to open up on the behalf of that child. Like an aunt, a grandparent. A lot of times grandparents do this for their grandkids. Because why? The flexibility that they can open up the account in the kid's name. And sometimes family members like to do this so that they can have the tax-free benefit. Because it's in the social security of the kid, but they will be able to save some money so that they can use that as a gift for them when the kids are ready of age to be going to college. Okay? The funds can be used for anything, unlike the 529 plan where they have restriction on the funds where they can use into just the purpose of education. Here in a custodial account, it can be used for anything. And anyone can open up an account. It doesn't matter the relationship to that child. And it's also very flexible. It's easy to set up. You can go to the bank and say, you know what? My name is XYZ. I would like to be able to open up a custodial account for my child, my niece, my nephew, so forth. Okay, very easy to be able to set up. But again, this is exposed to market fatality as well. And you must use the money in this money here is also taxable. Because once the person that they have assigned the custodial account for is of age, and that's 21 years of age, the account matured, and they have to surrender that account to that child. So that child is liable for the taxes that is owed to that account. So keep in mind that depending on the state that child lives, they are subjected to tax if they go ahead and be able to withdraw that dollar amount. And this too is also included in their financial aid income, meaning that this will be considered as an additional income to be considered in financial aid, whether or not they get their financial aid. So then we're going to talk about how we get and set up the legacy for the generational wealth for our children. Yes, and you have a question?
Yeah, can you go back? I'm trying to understand on the custodial account with the pros and cons. Whereas the pro, it says that the funds can be used for anything, but then the cons is also must be used for college. Can you explain that furthermore?
Right. So most of the time, the custodial account is saved for the purpose of the child going to college, right? But essentially, it has the flexibility to be able to use for anything. But majority of the time, is that people will can be able to use that to apply for any use. The child can use that for anything. So once the child is the account is surrendered to that child, they can be able to use that for anything. But keep in mind that once that child, that account is surrendered to that child, the recipient of that account, it is considered as taxable income. Does that make sense?
Well then, so for the con, it must be used for college.
Oh, I'm sorry, no,
It's not
yeah, so that's a
exact.
typo. That's a typo. No. Yeah, it can be used for anything, but what I'm saying is that the con is that it can be taxed on the dollar amount. Because once that account is matured to the child, is surrendered to that child, it becomes taxable income to that child.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Got it. Thank you.
Sure.
Just for clarification, you're saying that the funds can be used for anything, but if you use
Correct.
them anything but
Right, so
college,
probably the college here is throwing people off, yes.
yeah, they're gonna be if you use the funds for anything other than school, the funds will be heavily taxed. Is what I guess the context here.
So let's just delete the college part of it. So basically, in a custodial account, what I meant is that it can be used for anything, but majority of the time when people save up for a custodial account, is the main purpose is for that child to spend on college. But once that account is surrendered to the recipient or that child, it becomes taxable income. Most of the time is that it's at the time when they are ready to, whoever purchased that custodial account can surrender the account to that child at any age, or at the age to go to college, but it matures at 21 years of age.
Melinda,
Yes.
yeah, the same question. I still a little confused with if the child still under 21. So if the parent use that money for something else, be not in school, so they be able to, or they will be taxable, something like that.
It will be taxed. It will be taxed.
Okay.
So just so try not to get focused into this account more. So one thing you need to know about custodial account is one, the adult can purchase this custodial account on the behalf of that child so that they have some type of tax savings, right? Because they don't have to pay tax on that dollar amount. But once they surrender that to that child has to pay tax. And that child can use that. Main purpose is that what majority of the custodian or the adult that saves that money for is that they use that for the purpose of education for that child. But that child does not need to use that dollar amount for education if they choose not to. They can use that for whatever reason it is, but keep in mind that dollar amount will be taxed according to, depending on the state that child lives in.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Sandeep?
Okay. Thank you, Melinda.
Okay, so those are the some of the highlights. Again, so those are some of the things. You gotta roughly understand that a little bit. Just general, that's some of the general information, because mostly we're gonna be able to focus on the legacy of that generational wealth, okay? And what that is the IUL. Most of, all of us here know that in the IUL, it is exposed, not exposed to market loss, correct? It can be used, the dollar amount can be used for college or whatever reason that child need. Because in the IUL, if the parent chooses to, this is one of the selling point that you can be able to tell the parent, is that if you save into this wonderful product, once the child is of age to go to college, but the parent may want that child to go to college, but the reality is not every kid will go to college, correct? So in this IUL product, you can use that dollar amount for anything, or you can keep that money in there for that child. Later on, and they can be able to spend whatever they want. So that's the flexibility of this product. Another positive is no income limit. As you know, in the IUL, you can contribute into here. There's no income limit into here. The dollar amount, this is a very important highlight. The dollar amount in an IUL does not count in the income for financial aid. You have to stress this when you talk about college planning with the client. When they put the money and save into here for their children, when they go to college, does not include this in the financial aid income. Does that make sense, huh, David? You look frustrated.
Yes, I got it.
A little confused?
No, I understand.
Got it?
I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Just checking in on. Okay. So yeah, so that's a very important thing, Ryan. Because
Yes.
for somebody like an ordinary family,
Yeah.
they wanted to put some money aside, right, for their kids to go to college, and all of a sudden, the dollar amount in this IUL is so much money, and then all of a sudden, they, it's considered in the financial aid, and they're accounting for that financial aid support. They may not have it, and that can be a selling point too. The flexibility in funding, and there's no funding limit. So what's flexible spending? Well, flexible funding. You have the ability to fund into this product, and depending on how, if it's funded correctly, you can leverage the funding or the earnings. You can leverage on the earnings. And we can show you the illustration of what it is later on, of how we can craft the illustration for college planning, that if fund correctly, you can leverage on the earnings in an IUL. All right. Kay and John, do you have the illustration for? So now what John's gonna do is he's gonna run the illustration for an example in one of our products that we have to be able to fund into the college planning for this.
All right. Thank you, Melinda. Thank you for all the very good information. You guys like it? You guys learn something about it?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah,
Now
John.
we go out there and talk to people about college planning, right? What we can do, we can help a lot of people out there saving for their college planning. Okay, guys? Now, but here's the thing. After you tell them all that, you brought up the point, right? They need to save for the college planning. They need to do this. They need to do that. But now, how can you help them? You see, now it has to go to the point. How can you help them? Now you make them concerned. You make them aware of all the things that they need to do. What can you help them? And this is how you can help them. I'm gonna show you how you can help all these people out. Okay, guys? Melinda, can you stop sharing? Okay. So usually when I go out and I talk to parents, if they need me to show them how they can save money for their kids to go to college. Okay? So usually when I ask them if they want to save money for their kids to go to college, how much do they need to have by the time their kid is old? Okay? Now let's say a person, a brand new parents, they have let's say a brand new person, they have a newborn, right, 1 year old. And I ask them, how much do you need for your kids to go to college? So the minimum they tell you is $100,000, right? By the time they're 20 or 22, correct? Does it make sense? Are you guys following me? Or you? No?
Yes.
Yes, John, everything is good.
Maybe I have to roll.
John,
Huh?
I'm talking but people keep listening. That's why I forgot to answer.
Huh?
Yeah, because
They forgot what you say. That's why they forgot to answer.
Yeah. I'm sorry?
They say people forgot what you say. That's why I forgot to answer.
So usually when I ask, you guys see my whiteboard, right?
Yep.
So usually when I ask them, how much do you need for your kids to go to college? So let's say your kid is right now is brand new, newborn 1 year old, okay? And I asked them, how much do you need for your kids to go to college by the time he's go to college? And you know, most parents they say, okay, I need at least $100,000 or maybe more, okay? But this is the minimum. Agree? You guys saw Melinda's presentations, right? Right now, if they go 4 years in college, they need at least $100,000. But imagine 20 years later, they're gonna need more. Okay? But let's say $100,000. Okay? And they're gonna need $100,000 by the time the kids go to college. So their kid is 1 year old right now. So how many years do they need to save to have this $100,000? 20 years? 18, 20? Okay, let's do 20. Okay,
Yeah, that depends. Yeah.
I'll show you what. Let's say 20 years to make it even numbers so they can easy to calculate. So 20 years later, they need to save $100,000 by the time their kid is 21. They need $100,000. But a lot of people, how do they save? How do parents save nowadays? A lot of them, they better put in a saving account, right? A lot of them do, okay, I don't know, I just put in a saving account. Piggy bank for my kids to go to college. So do saving account have interest?
Not really.
Not really. So zero interest. So if you want to save in a place that gives you 0% interest, and you want to save $100,000, and you have 20 years to save, so how much do you need to save per year total?
$5,000.
5 grand. So say 5 grand. Brent? Thank you, Brent. So who you behind? Okay, so they need to save $5,000 per year for 20 years. Then they will have $100,000 for the kid to go to college. Okay? Follow? Now, and then after 20 years, they can take this money out, $100,000 out, and pay for college. And then they have nothing left. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
You save it in a traditional way, saving account, piggy bank. Okay? Then 20 years later, right now you save $5,000 per year. 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 for 20 years. 20 years later, you take out $100,000, you pay off your kids' student, and now you have nothing. Okay? I have a better way for them. Much better way for them. And let me show you what's the better way. For the same $5,000 per year, instead of putting the saving account or piggy bank, this person is a lot smarter. Okay, they put into this program that can do a lot more than just college. Okay, this is one of the programs that we do. It's from Fidelity. Just one of the programs that we do that I set up college planning for a lot of people with this program. And I will show you how it works, okay? Remember that person? Okay, the person A. Person A saved that $5,000 into a saving account every single year. 20 years later, let's say that's the guy is John, right? John, 20 years later, John have $100,000. John take it out and pay it off student loans. And now John have nothing. And the other person is we is smarter, okay? He put that $5,000 into this life insurance policy. Now, you see this? So the first year, he put away $5,000. In 10 years, he put away $50,000. 20 years, he put away $120,000. Same thing, okay? Same capital, same thing, same two guys. But you know what? 20 years later, John have no more money. But this is what we have. We was able to take out $100,000 and pay up for college planning for his kid. But he did not run out of money. He still had a lot of money into his saving account. after he take that $100,000 out, now he still have another $100,000 in his saving account. Is that amazing? Now he earned $100,000 already. Okay, how does it work? Because this policy right here, guys, is gonna give you an average of 7% interest rate every single year. And if you want to know how that interest rate works, you talk to your manager. Okay, the one that bring you here, and they can show you exactly how the interest rate works. But I'm gonna be here just showing you how this policy works. Okay. Now, and also this guy, after he paid off his college planning for his kid for $100,000, right? He had another $106,000 more in his account. He can take it out and use it however he like. He can cancel the policy, take another $100,000 and put in his bank account. But if he doesn't need that money yet, he can save that money into the saving account, and it's continue to grow. Okay? You look here. If he save that money into this policy, and by the time this kid, okay, by the way, this kid is 1 year right now, okay? It's brand new, 1 year. By the time this girl, 40 year, he would have another $405,000 more. He can take this money out and just give it to his daughter just for a wedding gift. Okay, a wedding gift of $400,000. Imagine all the ladies in here. If you have a wedding and your parent give you $400,000 gift, imagine how you feel. Okay, and then $100,000 for college already. Okay, but let's say after we give this money to his daughter doesn't cash it out. She can cash it out if she wants to, but if she doesn't cash it out, she can leave that $400,000 in there. Just earn interest every single year. Every single year is earn 7%, average 7% every single year. And here's the amazing thing. When I look at this, I hope that my mom set up one for me when I was young, but I didn't have it. But you guys can do this for your kid, okay? By the time this lady is 55 years old, you know how much she would have in her saving account? $2.4 million more. $2.4 million more. And here's the amazing part. She now retired. Okay, she now retired. Now she can take out $213,000 out every single year for the rest of her life until 100. Is that amazing?
Wow, it is amazing.
Okay, right? So this is how I help clients now. Okay, John saved $100,000 in the saving account. Now John have nothing else. You see that? But we saving the same $100,000. Okay, and he paid for his kids go to college, and then when his kid retired, she can take out $213,000 out per year, every single year, until 100. And if she do it right, it's tax-free. That's awesome, right? You guys think that's awesome? Give me number
Yes.
2. Okay, can you go out there and help client with this? Can you go out there and share this information with everybody that you know? Everybody have a young kid.
Just a quick question, John. It's the allocation of funds. The allocation of funds towards a university or school program institution. Well, let's just say college in the United States, like not trade school. It's tax free.
Yes.
If I'm taking this money, okay, the allocation is tax free. But if I were to say, hey, I put this money in the bank account or the IUL, for my child, and now my child's 20 years old, and I want them to buy their first home with the money that I used to build this IUL, it's taxable at that point?
If you do this right, it's tax free. It could
Either
be
way.
taxed. okay, it could be tax free, and you have to do it right. And
Right,
how
right.
do you do it?
Mhm.
Is you have to go to the advanced training, and we train you how to do that.
And that's okay with me. I'm just curious because I mean I'm gonna purpose it the same way. If I don't have somebody that wants to buy the house in the future, it's the same way. Whether they want to go to college or buy a home for their child, right? So okay, thank you, Sean.
Yes. So, for example, this $100,000 right here, 20 years later, if let's say my Reed's daughter doesn't go to school, he take it out and give it to his daughter for like do business or buy a home or do whatever he wants. Okay, you can do that too. It's not only for just college. Okay, that's a good thing because why? When Melinda show you when the 529 is it safe for what? For college only, right? If you don't use it for college and you take it out, then guess what? You need to pay tax and penalty. Correct? That's a con. But in this IUL, if you don't use it for college, you can use it for whatever you want, right? You can use it however you want. And even though when you retire, you can take out $200-something thousand out every single year to retire. Okay. Now a lot of people say, "Oh, 65-year-old is a little bit too longer, too far away." How about 50-year-old? How much can you take out? You want to see that?
Okay.
You want to see that people can retire at 50? We'll show you. Let's say this girl, she say, "Oh, you know what? I don't want to wait until 50. How about I take it out the money when I'm 50? How much can I take out per year?" Can she do that? Sure. You see, at 50-year-old, she will be able to take out $73,000 out per year. $73,000 out per year. For how many years? For 50 years until she's 100. From 50-year-old until 100 years, she can take out $73,000 out every single year. Is that amazing? That's amazing, right? And Jolie, what do you think? Then you go sing this song? And you know what? He already taken out $100,000 capital already to pay for his daughter to go to college already. This is the extra money that they can take it out every single year. Every single year. And he have to wait until 50 years to take the money out? No. You can start at 30. Let's see that. Let's see how much you can take out when you're 30. And you can take it out 70 years. Okay? And how much do you guys think we can take it out every single year at 30 years? How much?
Like 20-something thousand or 30,000.
Very close. $18,000 per year. $18,000 per year from 30-year-old to 100. Is that awesome? That's amazing, right? Is that this $18,000 is from where? From the other interest that he earned. It's not from his $100,000. His $100,000 is already paid for his college already, and this is only the interest that he earned, the extra money that he earned. Okay, so here's a calculations. If John save $5,000 per year for 20 years, now John have $100,000. John pay off for his college, for his daughter college, and now we doing the same thing. He save $5,000 per year every single year for 20 years. Same thing, $100,000. He can take out $100,000, pay off for his daughter to go to college. On top of that, when his daughter is 30 years old, she can start taking out almost $20,000 out per year, every single year for the rest of her life. Which one's better? 30-year old, you can take out $18,000 out, almost $20,000 out every single year. Imagine all of us here, all of us in here, if we can take out $20,000 out per year, if you get a paycheck for $20,000 out per year, from now until 100 years old, would you be remember your daddy forever? You'd be like, I have the best daddy ever, isn't it? Right? If your daddy leave you that, if your daddy leave you that account that just send you a paycheck for $20,000 per year, you'll be like, I have the best daddy forever, right? Or the best mommy forever. You see that? You don't. Do you want to be the best daddy or the best mommy? Of course, right? I want to be the best daddy forever. You see, so this is what we do, guys. We use this to be able to go out there and help all those parents to be the best daddy and the best mommy in the kids. That's what we do. Okay? We don't sell life insurance. Okay, can we all do that? Yes?
And John, in the chat box, there was a question that says, these are a lot of numbers. What if the insurance company goes bankrupt?
Wow, that's a wonderful question. Who say that? What if the insurance company?
I didn't get the name. It was some iPhone.
Joe? Okay, Charles, did you get your license yet, Joe?
Not yet, John.
Okay.
I'm here.
Just
Not yet. I'm not yet licensed yet. I'm waiting for my license.
okay.
Can you
Wonderful.
hear me, bro?
Yes. Where you from, Josh?
I'm from California.
Okay, wonderful. You work with Terra or that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So usually when you take your license, so in the license it's gonna teach you that all this insurance company they are protected by the guarantee associations, which is the insurance for the insurance company. You know about the bank, right?
Yes.
Okay. So the bank, what happened when the bank go bankrupt?
They have something program protect for client.
Yes, like FDIC, right?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And FDIC, right? So
FDIC.
like every person they pay them maximum of $250,000. It's like the insurance for the bank, like insurance for the bank go bankrupt.
Yes. Yeah.
The insurance company also have insurance too. It's called the guarantee associations. So if the insurance company go bankrupt, the guarantee association will pay the client the money. Okay. You follow so far?
Yes, I got it.
They pay up to a certain amount. Okay, they pay up to a certain amount. Let's say they're paying $100,000 maximum for every cash value. Okay, Annie? So you got insurance too. But you know what? Let me ask you this, son. Let me ask you this. Let's say if you open for the bank, for example, for the bank. Have you heard about in 2008? 2008.
Uh-huh. 2008.
when the market
Yeah.
crashed, right? You remember Washington Mutual?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Washington Mutual go bankrupt. Remember
Yeah,
that?
we have bankruptcy. Yes.
Yeah. Before they went to bankrupt, you remember what they did?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Sorry.
So
John, tell me again.
so when they
Yeah,
had
just explain more.
yes, so when business had problem like let's say Washington Mutual for example, before they go to bankrupt, Chase came over and bought them over all the accounts.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so whoever owed Chase money, whoever owed Washington Mutual money, they have to pay back to Chase. Or if you have an account with Washington Mutual at that time, Chase will pay you that money to continue your service. Right? So same thing with insurance company. So before when they had the problem, they had to go to bankrupt. Then another insurance company be coming in and buy all this account out already. So they keep continue to service you. Okay. So I never heard of insurance company go bankrupt to the point that the guarantee association need to pay the client the money. And you know insurance.
No, John, tại vì sorry. Mi có search ở trên cái website đó là ví dụ how many company insurance license get bankruptcy. They record like about 80 company get
Yes.
bankrupt.
Yes, man. They went bankrupt. Yes, but before they went bankrupt, they already sold all the client out already.
Okay.
So, like for example, Washington Mutual went bankrupt, right? Did they? They went
Yeah.
bankrupt. But did the client from Washington Mutual lose money? No. Anh hiểu không?
Hiểu anh.
Đấy, ví dụ như hồi
Okay.
xưa á, Washington bị bankrupt thì trước khi mà họ bị phá sản đó thì Chase đã mua lại những cái account của họ rồi, thì á, những cái người nào mà có tiền mà Washington Mutual giữ đó, họ cũng đâu có mất cái tiền đó đâu, rồi họ chuyển qua Chase hết rồi. Anh hiểu nói không?
Dạ, hiểu rồi.
Rồi những cái công ty mà anh đã nói là họ go bankrupt á, insurance company á, trước khi mà họ go bankrupt á, họ đã bán những cái account đi hết rồi. Có những người khác đã mua những đó rồi. Anh hiểu nói không?
Okay. Yes.
So the client didn't lose money at all. You got it?
Okay, thank you, John. Thank you, John.
And you love,
And also-
I know you love doing research on the Google and things like that. Do me a favor and research this one. In 2008, research how many banks went bankrupt in 2008.
Okay.
Okay? And then
Yeah,
research
okay.
how many insurance companies went bankrupt in 2008.
Okay.
Zero. Okay, zero insurance company went bankrupt in 2008. That's how strong the insurance company industry in the U.S. So in the U.S., insurance industry is the most strongest industry in the U.S. You buy everything with insurance. You buy a house, you buy insurance. You buy a phone, you buy insurance. Car insurance, everything insurance. So insurance industry is the backbone of the U.S. economy. So now let's say if everything fell in this in the U.S. industry. Let's say the oil, the gas, the bank, the mortgage, everything fell. Then the last one to stand is the insurance industry. That's how strong it is. And that's
Thank you,
why
John.
when every city you go, the tallest building, what building is it? The insurance building. Because they make so much money. That's how strong they are.
I get it.
But that's a good question, huh? Because a lot of clients will ask you the same questions. And as an agent, you need to know about that as well. As an agent, you need to know about that. You need to do all those research about it too, for your own knowledge. And when you go out there and you talk to a client, that's the first thing that asks you. What if the insurance company go bankrupt? Because I had the same questions before when I bought the policy. I had the same questions. And then when I talked to like 100 people, 100 people have the same question about it. Because
Yeah.
when you put money away somewhere, you need to know where your money going and what happened if the person that keep your money is bankrupt, right? Everybody
Yeah.
afraid of that.
Yeah. Anh cho Vũ hỏi một cái question nữa được không John?
Yes, sir.
Tại vì có hai cái account của cái saving college 529 đó, nhưng mà mình có thể transfer từ account ở trong cái 529 sang cái IUL cho hai đứa nhỏ hay không?
Anh có thể transfer nhưng mà well, the question is he has an uncharged have two 529 account for his kid, right? Two accounts.
Yes.
Now his
Yes.
question, can he transfer that money into an IUL program?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question
correct.
is, yes, you can do that, but you have to pay tax and penalty for that 529 when you cash it out. They don't stop you for
Mm.
right? Nobody
You
stop
can't
you.
link
Yeah.
the qualified fund with the non-qualified fund. You cannot mingle them together.
Yes. So the answer is yes, you can do it.
Yes.
But you
Okay.
have to. The thing is, you have to calculate if you do that, will that benefit you? That's the question you need to ask. I do that, will it benefit me? Okay, Ann?
Yes. John.
Auntie, is it worth it for you to do it?
Don't do it right.